Hey, what's going on? I already made a tier list on this game already on stream. I think like 3 days ago. No, no, not 3 days. I think like either yesterday or 2 days ago. And I gotta say, I'm definitely wrong on some characters, so I thought I'd make a new tier list based on newfound opinions, newfound discoveries on some of the characters that I thought were not that great. And yeah, let's just jump straight to it. So Android 18, still S tier in my previous tier list. She was still S tier. I still think she's a menace in my opinion. Still terrifying. She still has very high mobility. She can definitely one-shot nearly this whole cast, even tanks if she has her ultimate. If she stacks enough of her whatever gauge she needs, she can just do more damage on you. God forbid she has ultimate and she one punches you because you have all the stacks on. She's terrifying. And she needs to be taken care of by like a tank or someone with crowd control to counter her. But even then, she could just lurk around, go in and out whenever she wants, and bounce from any situation. Unless she's in a really bad spot she put herself in. Her Destructo Disc, she has ranged ability. She has up and close and personal moves. She's got it all. She has a really hard-hitting ultimate that only targets one person, but when she does land it, it's gonna fucking hurt. But moving on to Tank Cooler, A tier. Last tier list he was B tier, but I bumped him up to A tier mainly because of his anti-dive utility that he has with his second ability, which is like a huge AoE blast underneath his feet. You can't use any movement tools. You can't use a skill that will move you. You can't vanish step. And if you do use anything, you're going to be stunned for like a second or two. And those second or two moments can really mess you up. And when you get out of it, you still can't get out of it, especially if he has retaliation, where I think it shoots out 3 times, so it extends the duration to retaliation. Cooler also has iframes, so if you're really that skilled, you could kind of just iframe some moves. For example, Android 18 is a good example actually. Android 18 tries to ult you. If you time it well enough, you could just laser beam and just tank the whole ultimate. He has insanely high health, insanely good damage, fairly okay movement. His ultimate is terrifying, especially when he has it in retaliation. Yeah, overall he's kind of a menace in a huge fight, especially when he has his ultimate maxed out and his second ability maxed out. God forbid he grabs you and slams you down in your crowd control. He's really good at body blocking. He has really good damage, like I said. And yeah, this guy is a menace. But yeah, moving on, Goku. Goku is kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none until late game. He has a really, really bad start, like really terrible, but it's not unbearable. It's a bad start for the right reasons. If you're able to actually build up your damage throughout the course of the match, at endgame, Goku becomes probably one of the best DPS characters in the game. But that's assuming you can get a really good early game to mid game. Early game, again, it's really tough. It's really bad. His Kame isn't going to reach that far. It doesn't do too much damage. He can't really do too much other than jump in and out with his second ability, or maybe get some damage here and there with his Kame into Kaioken to extend that damage. His ultimate is actually quite nice. It's really good. Hits really, really hard when your teammates are alive. That is another unique thing. His ultimate hits harder when his teammates are alive. Though, if you know how to move around him, or excuse me, move with him, he can be very, very rewarding very, very quickly. You just have to keep up with the XP with him, and that's pretty much it. Though, early game, he does have fairly good movement, so if you are doing... If you are getting pushed back quite a bit, he does have a lot of really good tools to jump away to safety, or to come in clutch to save another teammate that might be low or something, because Kaioken into Jackhammer, or Jackhammer into Kaioken can actually stun the person. Kaioken into Kame will make the Kame hit harder and have a larger range. And I think you can Kaioken with Spirit Bomb. I actually haven't tested that, but I think that's a thing, just to make it do more damage or something. But yeah, Super Saiyan Goku, I think, is swell. This is a perfect beginner-friendly character. And if you're new to the game and you want to lean into DPS, I really, really, really recommend you play Goku out of all the other DPS characters. Again, he's fantastic. He teaches you the basic. If you're not doing good in the beginning, it's going to show heavily. If you're doing good in the beginning, that side will show heavily as well. But moving on, Krillin, S tier. I think put him below Android 18. And yes, placements do matter for me personally. Krillin is scary. His DPS is insane with the things that he can do. He's a technical character. His first ability is he can set up mine around the field that deals blindness, and you could stack that blindness just so they can't see anything, and it does a hefty amount of damage. You can place it anywhere you want, and after a couple seconds it'll disappear from the enemy's vision, and it'll stay there for however long you want until they either trip into it or you replace it with another bomb at some other place. And you can only stack a maximum of 3 at level 3, and they hurt and they're scary. You can place them down very, very quickly. They have huge AoE when they do explode, and they're really, really good at dealing damage and also soaking XP. That's one thing I forgot to mention about Goku, actually. I think at late game he's actually fairly good at soaking XP because of his huge AoE on his Kame. And going back to Krillin, he has Solar Flare, a terrifying ability that makes you blind. Not only that, but it also reduces your run speed, I believe. Reduces your run speed, makes you blind, and attack debuff, I believe. So you're not going to hit as hard, you're not going to move as fast, and you can't see anyone or anything. Very scary ability. It's not too crazy at level 1 and 2, but at level 3 has a huge AoE, especially when you're dealing with the Krillin that likes to set up ahead of time and not just be up front. Next ability is, I think it was called Scatter Kameha or something, scatter something. I might have butchered the name wrong, but it's an ability where he shoots out a ball of energy, and you can actually move with it up and down, left, right, wherever you want. You can turn it with your mouse and everything. And once either you land it on someone or the duration ends, it'll shoot up in the sky and rain down a bunch of ki blasts in an area and cover that area with smoke. That's really, really good for cutting off vision, trying to chase someone down with it, tracking them, because it deals a hefty amount of damage. Once it lands on them, all the ki blasts will actually go straight into the enemy rather than just laying it down in an area. The more you upgrade it, the wider it is, the harder it hits. And at level 3, it covers a whole lot. Usually what good Krillins would do is they would mix it up, obviously, but they would either Solar Flare into Scatter into Ultimate, or the other way around. They would Scatter, Solar Flare into Ultimate, Solar Flare into landmines behind them. Krillin's combo potential is insane. His damage is wacky. His movement is insane because he's a technical characters just move fast because that they're technicals, faster than tanks and DPS. And his ultimate is probably one of the scariest in the game. His ultimate is just Destructo Disc. At level 3, he throws out multiple in a 3-fan pattern, and then at the end of it, he throws one ginormous Destructo Disc. And the scary part about that ultimate is it deals even more damage if enemies have 3 status effects or more on their character. So you can already see this coming. A lot of good Krillins would Solar Flare, which applies 3 status effects into Ultimate. That will shred anyone and everything. I've gone through multiple matches where I would Solar Flare once, and my Ultimate wasn't even at level 3. I Solar Flared someone, and they died from just one hit of my Destructo Disc, and they were actually at high health. And this was like semi-mid game to semi-early game. Because of that, Krillin can kill people very, very early. And at late game, Krillin can kill people very, very late, very, very quickly. Late game, everyone is very, very beefy, including the tanks. And Krillin just kind of shreds that. So I actually moved Krillin up 1 because Krillin has higher capabilities in killing multiple people in one go, either early, mid, to late game. As for 18, she kind of has to choose and pick who she wants to kill. She will most likely get it off depending on the team fight and what's going on in the scenario. Android 18 is just about single focus targeting enemies, and Krillin can kind of just wipe a whole team if he wanted to. But moving on, Piccolo, A tier. I think he's fantastic. He's a unique character, unique DPS character, in the fact that his rush attacks are long ranged, much longer than Krillin. Krillin also has ranged attacks with his normal rush attack, but it's a lot smaller. But Piccolo, his is a lot bigger. So we can actually poke at enemies very, very well at a safe distance with his rush attack. Piccolo's light grenade is not that great at level 1 and 2, but it's terrifying at level 3. He shoots out a light grenade that deals a pretty okay amount of damage on the first 2 levels, but the main drive is level 3. Obviously, at level 3, you can actually do a lot of sniping shots with that move, and at the end of it, if it lands on anything, it has a sizable AoE effect on it. So it's really good at picking up people that might be hiding underneath tower that are low HP. You good at getting sneak AI kills or NPC XP yoinks and all that. Really, really good move and terrifying move. Only small problem is it takes like a second or two to like charge up and then shoot out, so you're going to be sitting still for a little bit. So you got to make that shot count, or you just play back and shoot it at a safe distance. His second ability, Hell Zone Grenade, really, really good at holding down an area and protecting an area. Whoever runs into it will get hit by the Hell Zone grenades that'll fall down to them, and they'll be applied to with a slow effect. Very, very good. It's not great at level 1, but at level 2 and 3, you have a lot more control with each level. So it's really good at closing off choke points. It's really good at chasing down enemies that are running away, so you can kind of just place it behind them, and they'll have to play like minefield with that. It's really good at protecting allies. Believe it or not, when they're running away, you place it over them, or you place it at a time. You tell an ally, if you're a voice comms, like, hey, go through my Hell Zone grenade, and if they're chasing them down, they're most likely gonna get hit and get very greedy, and then they hopefully will back off. So I think it's great at level 3, really good at defending, really good at holding down an area. Then Piccolo's third ability is Grapple. His third ability can just grapple to a wall, to NPC, to an ally, to an enemy, and after he grapples, he gets a free critical shot. That's another thing I forgot to mention. His normal rush attack at the end of it has like a critical shot that deals double the damage, and grapple gives you a free critical shot every time you grapple. So it's really good at running away, really good at chasing people down especially. And a little tech with Piccolo is you could actually time 2 critical shots back to back. If you get the timing down, it's a little more niche than like a tech, I guess. But if you do somehow get it, you're going to hit hard because you got 2 critical shots. I think Piccolo has one of the best ultimates in the game as well in terms of killing bosses. Bosses are very important. If there's a Piccolo around, you need to be terrified of that, because Piccolo can actually use his ultimate to kill bosses very, very quickly, and or steal bosses from the enemy team. As he charges up behind a wall, if he knows that the enemy team is going for a boss or something, he can most likely just yoink it, depending on the level of his special beam. But yeah, it's also really good at killing off enemy as well. You can hold it down for it to deal even more damage and wider range, or you could just kind of tap it for like a quick shot, so you can try to catch someone by surprise with it and kill them immediately. It's really, really good. I think Piccolo's fantastic and deserves the 8th spot. Gohan, I give him mid B actually. So his support capability is actually quite nice. Whenever he's near an ally, whoever he connects to will just have more damage. So you could pair him up with very specific DPS characters on top lane to make them better. Goku, Piccolo, Trunks, Sabora, etc. And it's quite nice. You'll deal more damage when you're with Son Gohan. He's a lot more support. So his first ability is Masenko. It's very simple. It's just the Masenko, and it does pushback, really good pushback damage, and knocks them back a sizable amount, especially when it's upgraded. So it's really good at, cutting off a choke point quickly and knocking them back. Or if they're chasing down an ally, you Masenko to push the enemy back, disrupting them. Or just really good at picking someone off quickly, because at level 3 it is pretty sizable and goes pretty far. I believe his second ability is his Yell ability, where I think he'll quickly jump over to the connected ally and then put up like a barrier around them, and I'm pretty sure it negates Ki Blast of any sort. And whoever's in that, I believe, gets a buff. I don't know the buff specifically. I can't really look, unfortunately. I think the beta ended, but I think that's pretty good to like escape if you're being harassed, jump to your nearest ally, shield, get the buff, or to actually dive in with your ally you're connected to, just so you can help him chase whoever he's attacking down, and he'll have to buff with it to make the whole interaction a little more safe. Third ability is a headbutt, scary ability. It's a really good ability where if you charge it up, you'll headbutt forward and you'll deal a good chunk of damage, and I'm pretty sure you will stun whoever you headbutt for like a second or two, though you have to maximize that charge up in order to get the stun off. It's really good at being aggressive. It's really good at just running away, and it's really, really good because once they see you charging up your headbutt, they have to think, oh, do I really want to go in on this Gohan to charge his headbutt and stun me? Or should I just respect it and back away? Pretty good ability. Really, really good ability. His ultimate, scary ultimate. What does he do? He charges up to you, hits you, stuns you for like the next 3 seconds. A really long stun. And then shoots out like a big Masenko blast on you. All while you're stunned, by the way, which is a long time. 3 seconds is a long time in a game like this. And it's a sizable blast once it's maxed out at level 3. Something you do not want to get hit And again, you're stunned. I think the scary thing about that ultimate is the stun of it. Once you're stunned, anyone can hit you. You don't have iframes in that. Anyone can hit you, and now you're about to have a huge Masenko blast on you while everyone else is wailing and in on you. So it's really good at targeting one person and hopefully finishing them off during that whole stun period. Yeah, Gohan mid B. Trunks. See, Trunks is really, really, really good at finishing people off when they're low HP. But unfortunately, that's kind of it. I think his damage isn't that great in a head-on fight. He's not really built to fight people head-on. He's only meant to catch people off guard, chase people down when they're low HP, and just appear out of nowhere and wreak havoc when they're struggling with health. He does have a really, really good movement tool, which is his jump ability. I think that's his second ability, where he can kind of just instant teleport to an area in an instant. He doesn't travel to that spot. He actually just instantly teleports there, which is very, very unique. I don't think anyone in the game has that kind of thing. So he can actually jump over terrain whenever he wants. He can give the jukes because you don't know what direction he went to. So if he does get chased down, he does have that option. His first ability, his right click, is his stab ability. Pretty self-explanatory. He just stabs in a straight line, does more damage and wider AoE once it's leveled. The unique thing about the stab is it does even more damage when the enemy is low. So you'd want to use that to obviously poke at the enemy that are like low HP very, very quickly. And then the combo is you jab and then you probably jump away. Or if they're still running away from you, you jab, jump into them, and hopefully you can finish him off with his rush attack. His rush attack is unique in the fact that he has longer melee range with it, and it's a sword. It's like a slashing, rushing attack. Already explained his second ability. He can jump to an area very, very quickly, instantly. His third ability, burning attack. Burning attack it's okay for what it is. Once it lands on an area or it hits an ally, or not an ally, and either an NPC or an enemy, a shroud of smoke gets applied in that area, and I guess they're blinded for quite a while. Well, not blinded, but they don't have any field of view because they're shrouded in, smoke. Very similar to what Krillin can do with his scatter Kame, but at a much smaller scale. It does pretty alright damage. I do like the coverage it can give, so it can give you the element of surprise on them. So you would shoot out your burning attack, make them blind, and maybe stab or jump into them where they can't get first engagement on you. You're the one with first engagement on them. Though, again, the issue with him is he's terrible at upfront battles. Terrible, terrible, terrible. He cannot be the first one to be in a fight. He needs to be the last one in, just so he can pick people off very, very quickly. And he has very, very low HP, so he can easily be killed very, very quickly. Someone like Cooler completely counters him. Someone like Piccolo can chase him down and he'll be dead. His ultimate, on the other hand, I think his ultimate could be pretty scary, but only at level 3. Level 1 and 2, not so much. Level 3, it's very, very scary. He can actually, the first hit is a separate hit. You'll ultimate, and then at the second part of your ultimate, you can actually choose where you aim your ultimate, which is some big like blast that he has. Huge AoE at level 3, huge. And I don't know the passives on it, but I think if I remember correctly, it deals more damage again when they're all low HP. So again, Trunks is really, really good at finishing low people off, but that's it. I guess he's also really good at taking objectives like bosses and like Kai's for huge XP boosts, because again, that little sword thing ability also applies to NPCs when they're low. So I guess he could steal those a lot more efficiently, but still, he's very difficult to play, and if you play him very bad, it's going to very much show, and you're just going to be feeding. And even if you do know how to play Trunks, again, you have to be very restrictive. You have to be very careful. You got to think a whole lot more on who you want to engage with, who are you with, and you really need to be with a team in huge fights. You cannot do stuff on your own at all. Moving on, Vegeta. We're going to put him at low A. His sustainability got nerfed, so he doesn't get as much damage from his abilities. His right click is just a full volley. Trash at level 1 and 2, but really good at level 3. He gets a lot of HP at level 3, but not as much as before in the previous beta. His second ability is Photon Bomber. Really, really good crowd control tool. He throws out like a big ball of energy, and whoever's in it gets just pushed back into it over and over and over again. So really good at cutting choke points. Really good at pulling the enemy in. Really good at soaking XP when there's a lot of minions grouped up together. He's in my opinion, probably one of the best characters to just soak lanes very, very quickly, especially when they're, you know, just a bunch of weak minions around. We can do that very, very quickly. His third ability is Self-Explosion Wave, I believe it was called, where he'll just use a huge explosion around him as a AoE, and whoever he hits, he'll get shield for each enemy hit by his explosive wave. Really good defensively and only defensively. It's not really good aggressively at all. It's a defensive tool for when Vegeta most likely gets ganked by a bunch of people, because again, every enemy he hits with that explosive wave, he gets more HP from it. So it's only really good when Vegeta's getting jumped, or if you really want to be creative, you could actually explosive wave a choke point where the enemy's trying to run away and you got a good flank. You push them into your team, or cut off an area from preventing them from entering it. For example, if they're underneath your tower, use Self-Explosion Wave underneath it, and that'll push them completely away from the tower. His ultimate is pretty at level 1 and 2, but insanely good at level 3. It's not too much in terms of damage, but about the healing factor that he gets. So he gets healing from his right click, his Self-Explosion Wave, and his ultimate. His ultimate giving him the most health per enemy hit with it. Huge AoE at level 3. Really good at helping Vegeta survive with whatever's going on in the fight. So we could stay in the fight for a really, really long time if he's smart about his placements with his ability. Though, unfortunately, again, it saddens me that they nerfed his survivability. Then again, I'm just a Vegeta fanboy. I know he was kind of busted back in the beta because of how much health he gets and the shit that he does. Another unique thing is when he's like half HP or a little bit lower than that, his cooldowns are cut down drastically, might I add. So if he's low HP, he could just spam his abilities over and over again, thus amplifying his survivability when he's low HP, because all of his stuff is at a lower cooldown. So that's quite nice. He also has a transformation. Ooh, that's something I forgot. These guys have transformation: Trunks, Goku, Vegeta, and Cooler, all of which just gives them more health and amplifies their damage and their abilities. Kinda. That's pretty much it. So you could time your transformation in a dire situation where you're close to dying. If you pull it off soon enough, you can actually live that and get all your HP back. Moving on, Zamasu, the boring tank of all time. There's just no value he brings. He doesn't bring any value at all. The only thing I guess he does is his dash, where he dashes into an enemy and just misplaces them. I guess you could push him into your squad so you could jump him. And his ultimate is actually pretty all right. He jumps up in the air and covers a whole area of like gunk where whoever's in it, insanely slow. His right click ability is just a bunch of orbs he shoots out. It's okay, doesn't do too much damage. It applies slowdown, which is quite nice. It is fairly decent at farming XP when there's a bunch of minions crowded around. At level 1, 2, and 3, it's still not too significant. I guess at level 3, you can catch someone trying to run away because of the range of it, and they're slowed down, and you can just catch them from there. His second ability is Dash, the thing I mentioned before. He just dashes in, and that's it. You could, again, just misplace an enemy or push him away from an ally who's getting harassed, but that's it. His third ability is like a cut ability where at level 1 and 2 in a small AoE, he'll cut in 4 ways or around him. Whoever gets hit starts to bleed. At level 3, it has huge range, still cuts in 4 ways, and applies bleed to everyone. Still doesn't do too much. The damage is not all that. The bleed isn't too crazy. Again, it's only really good if, I guess, they're low HP and you probably kill them with the cut or stop them from running, and then you can kind of dash into them and kill them, I guess, assuming they're not a highly mobile character. Zamasu's survivability is not all that anymore. It's hard for him to fill up that HP bar where, you know, he gets a second chance if that's full, and then he could come back to life, which is nice, I guess. What good is that if you're not focusing minions, and whenever you use other abilities to kill minions, you don't get that bar up? The only way for you to get your bar up is by melee rushing the NPCs, which you're not always doing, especially late game, where fights are happening back and forth constantly and not really focusing on farming anymore. Zamasu needs help. Hopefully they buff him somehow in other ways. He's terrible and not fun. Boo! C tier, below Trunks. Boo is probably one of the most support character in the game. His right click makes it so that he shoots out a go-go gum. Whoever gets hit in it will be slowed down and their hitbox a little bit wider at 1 and 2. Once he go-go gums onto an enemy or NPC, his key blast gets amplified. It deals a little bit more damage for a short set amount of time. At level 3 though, go-go gum becomes terrifying. Once you shoot 3 go-go gums on an enemy, their hitbox is humongous. The go-go gum fills up a majority of the screen if you're right there. It's a huge AoE and anyone can hit them while they're in that go-go gum. So it's really, really good at trying to catch someone far away who's running away, and you're extending their hitbox and they could be killed a lot more early, a lot more safely. That's really good. Second ability is heal. Self-explanatory. He just heals whoever he's connected to when he places that ability down. As you level it up, he can heal multiple people. Level 1, heal 1 person. Level 2, he heals 2 people. At level 3, he heals 3 people, all at a much faster rate with each increasing level. Really good at supporting, especially when there's a big fight where healing is kind of important. So yeah, it's very straightforward, very nice ability. Third ability, it's just a run ability where whoever he runs into will be knocked back and can't use any abilities for like half a second. I think this is actually an underrated tool to use on Boo. At level 2 and 3, it's actually quite nice. Level 1, not so much. At level 2 and 3, you can actually circle around the enemy, especially at level 3. Circle around them, boop them into the enemy team where they can't use abilities, and hopefully they get finished off. God forbid you push them repeatedly against a wall, and it's gonna hurt them, actually, surprisingly. That move actually does semi-decent amount of damage for a crowd control tool. You're immune to crowd control. You cannot be stunned. You cannot be slowed during this move. So it's actually really, really, really good at running away from enemies with whoever may or may not have a stun. Unfortunately, Cooler is one of those people I think that he can't run away from, but everyone else, like Gohan, 18, Krillin, who else? A couple other people that would have some sort of slowdown. Zamasu's right click that would have some sort of slowdown ability or like a stun ability. Then he could just kind of just run away very, very quickly, scot-free. His ultimate is very, very scary. Very scary. At level 1 and 2, it's not that great. At level 3, it's insane. Whoever is in a certain radius that he shoots out will be turned into candy. What Boo can do is actually eat the people who got turned into candy, and they'll be in his stomach, and he can kind of just walk freely with them in his stomach for a little bit. And the spot that he shot his ultimate in actually heals as well, so it's also really good at just healing allies as well. And so you can kind of, once you eat the enemies, you can kind of place them in a bad, awkward spot for them to fight in. So I think it's pretty good. His value kind of goes stagnant late game a little bit. His late game isn't all too crazy. It's still impactful somewhat, definitely a lot more than what Zamasu has. It doesn't scale too well compared to everyone else. Moving on, Baby, the new character, S tier. Baby's broken, mainly because he has the body swap ability. Well, not body swap. He can enter an ally's body and apply lifesteal to that ally while also healing himself. So his right click is a surprisingly good attack, a pushback ability. He can use it twice at level 1, I believe, or no, just once or twice, one of the two at level 1, and all it does is it deals damage and pushes them back. It's an ability you can move with, so you can move up, down, left, right while using it. So it is good at pushing people away from your ally or from yourself. It's also really good at just straight up dealing damage. It's really good at disrupting minions, trying to push them into your side, and really good at XP soaking. It's just really good. Really good overall scary ability. Though the only issue is if you miss, you will be in that animation for a little while because you can't turn around and move with it. You only fire it in a certain area. The only thing you can do is just move. Second ability is his like angry shout move, I think it was called, where he activates it and then whoever's in that area will be slowed down and will be hit repeatedly with it. He also gets a defense buff with it, a melee strike defense buff, where, you know, he just takes reduced damage from rush attacks overall. And it applies movement speed down and, like I said, damage. Really scary ability to be chased down with, especially when it's leveled up at 2 to 3. And the more you level it up, the faster damage it has, which means that's just more DPS, because at level 3 it shoots out very, very quickly compared to level 1 and 2. Huge AoE at 3, so it's really good at catching up to people, hurting people, slowing them down for your allies. Really good ability. Third ability is the ability I was talking about a little bit ago, where he enters an ally's body and applies lifesteal on them. So he is a really good tank to pair up with a lot of the DPS characters. He's really good with 18, Piccolo, Goku, even Trunks, Deborah, Oob. I think he fits perfectly well with anyone. The more sweaty meta combo with this is just Baby with 18. Because imagine an 18 that knows exactly what they're doing. She just can't die because of lifesteal from Baby. That is terrifying. I've gone against that multiple times, and it's just ridiculous. Very scary ability, especially when you're low HP. Just enter an ally's body, give them lifesteal, and you'll regen all your health, and you can go back to fighting immediately after. But to his ultimate is another really scary ultimate. Doesn't matter the level on this actually. Is a unique ultimate in the fact that the more enemies you hit with it, the more you use it, the stronger it is. So this is an ultimate you kind of want to just spam over and over again to make it very strong for late game or early game even. It's an AoE blast where he stands still for like a couple seconds and then a huge blast comes around him and it's just flat damage, hard damage. And for every enemy he hits, the more amplified the damage will be the next time he uses it. So the more you use it, the more damage it'll have for future uses, and it just keeps piling on and on and on and on until it becomes a really scary ultimate that you're gonna have to respect or just tank the whole thing. Very scary ability, and I think he also gets HP from it, if I remember correctly. Either if he gets a kill or it just depends on who he hits, he'll get HP from it. I forgot. Again, I can't really look, unfortunately, because the game has sadly closed down. But yeah, Baby, S tier, best tanking in the game, best character in the game, for all the value he provides. One thing I forgot about is right click. His right click at level 3 also shoots out in a 3-fan pattern as well, instead of just a one straightforward path with 1 and 2. So level 3, really good at pushing away a lot of enemies, and he has multiple uses on it. He used it 2 times at level 3. Moving on, Khalifa. We're actually gonna place her at mid S, above Android 18. She's one of my favorite tank characters, along with Vegeta. Her right click is a kick ability where she swings forward 3 times, I believe. 1, 2, 3, and whoever she kicks will have the provoke status effect. So provoked, self-explanatory. Whoever you hit will be provoked, and they can only target you. And because they're provoked, they deal less damage to you, and you deal more damage to them. Very scary status effect that can be consistently applied over and over and over again because the cooldown on it is relatively short. So I think Khalifa is probably one of the best characters to appeal for the team. So pretty much you kick and they're all aggro to you, and the rest of your team can just wail in on them for free because they're all provoked. They can't turn around and use abilities on whoever's attacking them, only abilities on you, which I think is great. The provoke status effect, damage negation on yourself, is pretty huge. You could take on a lot of fights because of the damage reduction and the appeal you have for your teammates. It's great. It's wonderful. Her second ability is, I don't know what it's called, but it's an ability where you throw a red ball out. Whoever it lands on, you jump to them. So whether it's an NPC, you jump to them. Whether it's an enemy, you jump to them. But if you don't hit anyone, you don't jump. You have to land a hit on something or someone, and then you jump forward. So it's a really good chase down tool that she has as a tank, which is scary. Deals even more damage when they're provoked. So if they're running away, you provoke them and you chase them down with that ability, it's going to hurt them pretty hard because, again, you deal more damage to them when they're provoked. It's a really consistent ability that doesn't need to be leveled. Just have it at level 1 and you'll be able to chase down people very nicely. At level 3, of course, again, bigger AoE, meaning you can actually be a lot more loose in your aiming compared to level 1 and 2. But again, it's such a really good ability to just chase people down. The third ability is unique in the fact that it negates projectiles, like ki blast projectiles. So if Goku used Kame on her and she used her third ability, it would negate that entirely. So it's a really good defensive tool. Really good. So you could use it to block off choke points, help protect allies with it, push them away. It has really good knockback, not good damage. Understandably so. It's a defensive tool with the fact that it negates ki blast and all that and pushes away people. Huge AoE at level 3. It's not that crazy at level 1 and 2 because it's really small, so you're not going to protect too much. But at level 3, you're going to be protecting a whole lot because of its AoE, and it's really good at defending as well your tower. Unique ways good Khalifas would use her third ability is actually securing objectives. So for Elder Kai's at bottom and top lane, well, mainly for bottom, what good Khalifas would do is once the Elder Kai is low HP, just so no one sneaks it, she would actually use the third ability to cover herself and the Elder Kai in that AoE, thus securing the kill with an ally, just so no one can sneak it. Light Grenade doesn't go through that, Goku's Kame doesn't go through that, and a few other characters. Really good defensive tool. Her ultimate is a pretty alright ultimate. I like it personally. It's a really good engagement tool to like start a fight. Pretty much is she charges up multiple beams and moves forward. It is an ultimate you can actually move with. She'll shoot out a bunch of red lasers, and whoever she hits will force a provoke on her and her alone. It does go through enemies at level 3. So at level 3, you could use that to engage the fight, have them all provoke to you, and then let the rest of your team just well in on them. Damage is okay. Don't expect it to kill. It's not an ultimate that you kill with for sure. It's an ultimate that you kind of just be very aggressive with and start a fight with. At level 1 and 2, it's not too crazy. At level 3, it's really good since it shoots out in a 3-fan pattern with her ultimate, so you cover a wider range, provoke more people, and you can just go in from there. She also has a transformation. Very good, very good. Again, same thing, just ups her health, her damage, and a little bit of her skills. So I think she's great. A really solid tank. Frieza, we're gonna put him at C tier. I think I had Frieza either at A or B tier, but we're gonna put Frieza at high C. So very similar to Trunks, Frieza is insanely exponentially good at one thing, and that is defending. Frieza, in my opinion, is a really, really, really good defending character when your tower is being attacked. With Zarbon, you place down, with his right click, you place down Zarbon. After a certain amount of time, Zarbon's FOV would widen, and he'll just cover a decent sized area. And whoever enters that area will get shot by Zarbon. And they will apply I believe, a slowdown and a defense down. That's pretty good. You don't want to be fighting in Zarbon's FOV for too long, because you'll just be hit with constant debuff. Frieza's second ability, Deborah. Deborah is just a pushing character. Not really meant too much for damage. You don't want a Deborah in your face. Deborah is a very beefy assist, and all he'll do is just headbutt constantly and push you back over and over and over again. So at higher levels, just increase the range of it and just makes him more beefy. Going back to Zarbon real quick, it's the same thing with Zarbon. Once he's leveled up, he actually gets a new transformation, and he'll hit harder and will have penetrating shots and just deals more damage overall. So both are really good placement characters to just defend with or even soak lane with. In terms of being aggressive with those two abilities, it's really, really, really difficult to be aggressive with those abilities. Really insanely difficult. They require a lot of setup. His third ability is like Imperial Inspire. It's like an inspiring tool where whoever's in that inspiration range will get a speed buff if it's an ally, and an attack speed if it's Zarbon or Dodoria. So in a fight, you want to place down Zarbon ahead of time and slash or Dodoria, and they'll just shoot faster. Really, really fast. Especially if they're already like level 2 to 3 Zarbon or Dodoria. They will hurt, especially Zarbon. Zarbon will hurt if he has Inspire on him. And it'll just shoot very, very, very quickly, applying the stack over and over again and applying damage over and over again. Very scary. Same with Dodoria. If he's inspired, he'll just go even faster with his pushback, meaning you can't really approach Frieza with an inspired Dodoria. That's it. With his third ability, it's just an inspired move. If you use it on allies, they move faster, and that's it. Which is really good at saving people's lives. If they're trying to run away, you inspire them and they'll move faster, hopefully able to fly away from them fast enough. Really good at being a rat. I will say that, because he's a technical, he's really good at being a rat and flanking around and getting sneaky shots at tower. He's very, very quick. His passive makes it so that he moves faster and cannot be interrupted while he's flying. So that's really, really good for him to like just get from one end to the other across the map and get a cheeky blast off the tower. Again, he's only good at defending, and that's it. Anything else he's not going to be good at. His damage is not that great with his normal rush attack. His ultimate, another really good ultimate. It's an ultimate where you have to hold it down to charge it up. Once it's fully charged, it just has huge AoE. And wherever it slides on, it actually moves forward on the ground first and then explodes. Whatever ground it laid its, burning key energy on, it'll have a slowdown effect in that area for a certain amount of time. So it's really good at throwing it down like a lane or something that you're defending, or catching people off guard by placing it in front of them when they're running away or something. They'll be hit with a big blast along with the slowdown, so that they can maybe, if they don't die from that, they'll definitely get chased down by either you, with your teammates, or whatever while they're low HP. Those ultimates are pretty good. Deborah, you give him low B. I think Deborah is I think Deborah has semi-hidden potential, but the main issue with him is his Petrify. He has a passive on him where whenever he hits an enemy with his abilities, it'll apply Petrify. And once that bar is fully up, they can't move, they'll be stoned. Meaning they'll have like triple the damage income on them, which means they could die very, very quickly once they're turned into stone. Right click is just a big AoE blast in front of him that'll apply a good chunk of Petrify. Level 1 and 2, not that great. Level 3, pretty alright. The issue with his right click though is he stands still for quite some time, and well, it's surprisingly easy to dodge. So it's a move you want to shoot out unexpectedly very quickly. You don't want to shoot it out ahead of time. You want to be up and close and personal with them to apply the Petrify, and it does pretty good damage. It does surprisingly pretty good damage. Second ability is a spear ability where he throws out a spear. Once it lands on an enemy, whenever he's flying towards the enemy, he'll be extremely fast and he's able to chase them down very, very quickly once the spear is lodged into them. That's pretty much it. It does okay damage, and it's really good at chase down once the spear is in them. At level 3, he shoots out 3 spears. So you could catch multiple people with it, but it's not anything crazy. It doesn't apply extra Petrify. All it does is it just makes it so you can rush them down. So if you're melee rushing them, with melee rushing does apply Petrify with the final hit. He pulls out his sword at the final hit and just slashes and applies a little bit of Petrify. With the spear in them, makes that a lot easier since your rush attack movement is a lot faster. That's pretty scary. His third ability is flames. He shoots out a flame from his mouth, and that also applies both Petrify and burning attack. Damage is not at all there. It barely does much damage. It does penetrate. It goes through enemies for sure, so you could stack it to multiple people. It does a fair bit amount of Petrify on the enemy. So if they're running away, you want to catch up to them, or they reduce their Petrify by like vanish spamming or flying, you could maybe catch them with that, apply a little bit more, along with burning, and see if you can get Petrify that way. His ultimate is very simple. All he does is just spits in an area, and whoever's in it just has a bunch of Petrify stacked onto them. Unfortunately, a very easy move to dodge at level 1 and 2, obviously, but at level 3, huge AoE. If you're really that skilled, you can get a lot of people with Petrify, assuming you've already applied a decent amount to them in the first place, and then you shoot out your ult. But the issue with Deborah is it's kind of easy to remove the Petrify status ailment on yourself as he's trying to build it up on you. The way for you to remove it is by flying when you enter the flying phase very quickly, or when you vanish step, you remove a pretty sizable amount from it. So now Deborah is going to have to restack that over and over again. So he is fairly good at dealing damage, I will say, with his right click, and this is not someone you want to fight long term in a 1v1 setting. 1v1, you're most likely not going to win. In a 1v1 setting, Deborah could hold his own because, again, he could stack Petrify on you very, very quickly. I remember I was Khalifa. I was 1v1ing a Deborah. I was still nearly full HP. He was low HP. He petrified me and just absolutely destroyed me while I was like level 8 as Khalifa. And he was level 8 as well. Really messed me up. So he could mess you up if he applies Petrify on you. Moving on, Deborah. Or Bojack, not Deborah. His damage is non-existent. He's an oddball. I think they need to buff him. I don't know what they need to buff him with specifically, but he for sure needs help. Definitely better than Zamasu, but not better than Boo with the value he provides. I guess his right click is he just throws out 2 balls that explodes on contact, and that's pretty much it. Second ability is he shoots out like these little bombs forward that he can move with, and he can make them explode early by shooting out his right click. Very easy thing to dodge with, and he's in animation for a while shooting these out. His third ability on the other hand is probably one of the more better things he has on his kit. At level 1 and 2, it's like it's small range. All it does is he sends out his goons to trap an area with like electrical wiring or whatever it's called. Once they've been applied with like status effect, whatever bar thing, whoever he shoots at, his buddies will attack. And you can actually cycle through your minions on whoever attacks first. Well, you don't cycle them yourself, you kind of just let them go in order of operation, and they deal sizable amount for what they can do, I guess. But it's mainly just good at controlling an area, shutting it down, stopping people from chasing, really good at defending. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now his ultimate is probably one of the worst ultimates in the game. He just shoots out I think 6 beams in a spread out fashion, and then it slowly closes in into one straightforward area. You never want to use this in a big fight. The only time I've ever seen a major value from this ultimate is just defending tower. Once they're underneath tower, you kind of just use ultimate. You don't want to be standing in that because all those beams are like separate damage of its own, so it could stack on you very, very quickly once it slowly closes in on itself. But that's it. I guess you could ult ahead of time if they're chasing down low allies, so they run into that, but even then they'll just go through you and go right behind you and just mess you up. So you only ever want to use this defensively. Bojack needs help. He's not great. He also has a transformation, I guess, but still not helpful. Ooh, but at least this bad boy up in A. Scary character. He can chase you down with his dash ability. I don't know if that's his second or third ability. I think that's his second ability, where he just dashes forward very, very quickly. His right click, I believe, is a fan ability where he shoots out like this electrical key energy in front of him that has really long range and really good damage. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is one of the few characters that I don't know much of. From what I've seen, he's high A. I don't really know exactly what his abilities do, admittedly. I'll admit to lack of knowledge on this one, but all the really good OOP players that, you know, showed me what's up or told me about him, I'd say he's pretty high value. I don't really know much about him, unfortunately. I know this is a tier list and everything. I guess take this one with a grain of salt specifically. And yeah, this is the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And yeah, I will talk to you guys some other time, all right? And hopefully they give us a release date. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Oh, and don't forget to check out my Twitch. I stream daily. And yeah, if you want more of me, then there you go. There's my stream. All right, later.